Welcome back to Calamba City Science Integrated School MIL class. Once again, just to have a quick glance of what we had last time, in this self-learning material, you will be able to describe how communication is influenced by media and information. This is an important springboard in our aim to be media and information literate individuals. With the massive volume of content people are exposed to in this age of information and connectivity, we must have that skill to understand and evaluate information in respect to their truthfulness, value, and impact in our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, just to have a recap of what you had last week, you were able to explain the unifying power of communication. You have identified elements and concepts of communication alongside media and information through different communication models. You have related the concepts presented in the communication models to the current situation. Also, you have reflected on how media and information has affected the way you communicate. And lastly, you have created your own model of communication based on your personal experience. So now, welcome back, my dear students. I hope your first week of learning in the new normal turned out quite well. If you find the new modality is kind of hard, don't worry, we'll get used to such in no time. Previously, we discussed the elements of communication and look into various models of communication from various experts. Later on, you attempted to explain your understanding of communication by conceptualizing your own models. How was your work? By the way, the first week's content serves as appetizer to the main course, which begins today. I believe you are much more conditioned now for an MIL feast. So guys, for the week 2, we will have the introduction to media and information literacy. So for this module, the most essential learning competency that you are expected to attain is to identify the similarities and differences between and among the media literacy, information literacy, and technology literacy. So are you all set? Let's get the ball rolling. Number 1 learning task, My Media Lab. Kindly refer to your e-learner's portfolio for the editable template. Let us begin with personal assessment on exposure to and use of media. Think about your past week and note down your interaction with media and information providers such as internet, newspaper, TV, radio, books, movies, and others. Write the number of hours you spent with each one. Then check the main reason for your media engagement. Is it for leisure, entertainment, learning, or communication? You don't have to be very precise in your numbers. You may provide a good estimation in case you cannot provide a detailed log. So have a quick glance of the media lag that I am talking about. So you may add more columns and rows if you feel the need to do so. And after accomplishing the list, go over it and reflect on your media engagement. Here are some questions to guide you in your reflection. Which media or information provider do you normally use? We all have 168 hours in a week. How many hours do you spend on media? Number 3, during this quarantine period, how do media play a crucial role in your day-to-day activity? And lastly, what are the positive and negative changes that media brought to your daily activities? For the learning task 2, kindly visit our Google Classroom, our classwork. This is actually a checklist of literacy identification. There are given items and you have to tick on the appropriate literacy. Is it media, information, and technology literacy? Kindly copy the link or the URL or click the photo on your e-learner's portfolio. How literate am I? According to Romel Forte, Executive Director of World Vision in the Philippines, literacy, most especially amongst the children and youth, is one of the key factors that determine how well a country progresses in this rapidly changing world. We have an unfortunate reality where some Filipinos, both young and old, are still struggling with their literacy skills. On a positive note, with a 97.95% literacy rate among the 15 to 24 years old age bracket, the Philippines is considered as the most literate country in Southeast Asia based on a report by United Nations. At first glance, this is something to be really proud of, but as we think about the numbers, we might ask ourselves, how literate are we really? Now, for your learning task 3, all you have to do is to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. How literate are you? Then explain your rating using the format below. I give myself a rating of blank because you explain why you gave such rating. Meanwhile, in order for us to fully understand what MIL literacy really is, we have, of course, to unlock some terms. The first one is literacy. Literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning wherein individuals are able to achieve their goals, develop their knowledge and potential, and participate fully in the community and wider society. That's according to Commission on Higher Education 2016. The ability to read and write is just a small portion of literacy. Besides, there is just more to reading and writing than knowing the alphabet, forming words out of it, and knowing the meaning of each word. What is more important is for you to have the ability to use the words for the right purpose. Why do some neighboring Asians come to the Philippines to study English language? Basically, because they need to put into practice the language by conversing with other people who can also speak well using the target language. They will only use English language the way they learn it from school. They cannot fully understand the different options by which a discourse can be used. The second term is media. Media are the physical objects used to communicate with, or the mass communication through physical objects such as radio, television, computers, film, etc. It also refers to any physical object used to communicate messages. Megaphones and microphones are sound devices which can be used to amplify volume, and for that purpose they are considered media. Today, media has been classified as traditional and modern. All forms of media, may it be digital or online context, is considered modern. Media, in the light of mass communication, must always have a sense of credibility and dignity. To do so, media must pass through an editorial process that ensures the dignity and legality of the information being conveyed. Next one is media literacy. It is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media in a variety of forms. It aims to empower citizens by providing them with the competencies, like knowledge and skills, necessary to engage with traditional media and new technologies. Take note of the 4 key words: access, analyze, evaluate, and create. Therefore, in order for a person to be considered Facebook literate, he or she must 1. Create an FB account and serve for FB content. 2. Check if the content found is true or fake. 3rd, decide whether it is worth sharing and worth reporting for violations. And lastly, post different contents that are also worth liking and sharing. Next one is talk about information. This is a broad term that covers processed data, knowledge derived from study, experience, instruction, signals, or symbols. That is according to CHED, once again, 2016. The key word in this definition is processed data. For instance, If a person just declares this plant is an effective cure for the virus, we cannot right away consider his or her statement as information unless there are supporting facts to this declaration. Now, can we say that a fake article found in social media is information? It can still be considered as information, although further analysis would lead us to discover that it is a wrong information. This issue leads us to the need for information. And speaking of information literacy, this is the ability to recognize when information is needed and, of course, to locate, evaluate, and effectively communicate information in its various formats. CHED 2016. Since there is always a need to evaluate information, literacy on this matter is also very essential. Take for instance the need for parents to be informed regarding the new learning modalities of education. Before any information related on the issue at hand is given to parents, the sender must ask first the following: do parents still need this new information? Where will I get these facts regarding these new learning modalities? Are all these new modalities applicable considering the resources that the families have? How would I inform parents regarding this? Should I invite parents for a meeting, prepare pamphlets for them to read, or engage them in an online meeting? Next literacy is technology literacy. This is the ability of an individual either working independently or with others to responsibly, appropriately, and effectively use technological tools. Using these tools, an individual can access, manage, integrate, evaluate, create, and communicate information. Now, media and information literacy, the essential skills and competencies that allow individuals to engage with media and other information providers effectively, as well as develop critical thinking and lifelong learning skills to socialize and become active citizens. Consider our society today as a melting pot of knowledge, culture, and beliefs, and we must admit that all of these do not blend together. Media comes in like fuel that can fire up the content of our pot. If we do not attend to this fire, we will end up with useless content. But if we are careful enough, then countless ideas that define today's generation will not lead to misunderstanding, but to a harmonious society shared by all. Yes, the definite goal of MIL is to promote peace in a world confused by too much information. Now, we are done with the definition of terms. Now we are down to our learning task 4, which is more on reflection. In your opinion, what makes an individual literate in media and information? Encode your answers in your e-learner's portfolio. What activities, habits do you practice which illustrate media and information literacy? Give at least 3 examples. Now, this is a more challenging task for you. Learning task 5. Content creator. Imagine yourself as a content creator. The DepEd Schools Division Office in your locality commissioned you to produce an educational content in any form that would serve as supplemental learning materials for distance learning. Keep the topic in your mind as you accomplish the media and information design framework matrix below. So kindly check your e-learner's portfolio for this format. This is not limited to blog or vlog. This can be meme, this can be a publication material, this can be an infographics or what have you. So you just fill out the matrix on your e-learner's portfolio for you to be able to accomplish the learning task 5. And an example is provided for you. And for the learning task 6, we are all familiar with cell phones. Your phone tablet reflects who you are. The apps that it contains speak of your preferences, engagements, and connections. If you are media and information literate, what would your phone feature? Fill the blank phone tablet template on the next slide with the icons of apps that you think are important tools for media and information literacy. Search and download from Google Images and other sites. Then provide one sentence explanation for each app that you place on the phone tablet template. This is the template and the table for your explanation. And for the last learning task before the short assessment, this is the learning task 7. A while ago, you did your first work as a content creator. For some, that could be a brand new experience. For others, you are used to creating vlogs and memes. This could already be a familiar ground. Regardless of what your case may be, everything boils down to the fact that it is your responsibility to be media and information literate individuals. In whatever medium you use, you must always keep in mind to aim not for anything popular, but rather for something that is proper. Do promise that you will work on this, okay? And this is the template. As a media literate person, I will continue. As an information literate person, I will. As a technology literate person, I will. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now down to our final academic engagement, which is the weekly assessment. This will just be short. This is just like the learning task 2 that you did in Google Forms. So visit your MIL classwork and find the link. You may also start slideshow and click the assessment photo or the link icon or the URL, or you just press Control, then click the photo, the URL icon, or the link itself. Wow, that's fantastic, and that is the end of week 2 lesson, ladies and gentlemen, and you have a total of 150 points for the e-learners portfolio template, excluding the online quizzes. And up next, we will have the responsible use of media and information for our week 3 session. Now, this has been Sir Rex Bibal, your teacher in media and information literacy. Ingat!